This happened one summer, about 2 years ago. I had just graduated from college, and I was on my way to a friend's place to drink and party. As I drove along the highway, the sky grew dark before I realized it, so I pressed it down on the gas, hoping to get there faster. At the same time, I was buzzing with excitement, thinking about all the fun my friend and I were going to have that night. Before I knew it, the moonlight was illuminating the road, and dense forest stretched out on both sides. There were hardly any cars around. When I saw a sign for a rest area, I decided to pull in and grab a quick snack. The moment I stepped out of my car, something caught my eye. A man was standing nearby, staring at me. I froze for a second, but tried my best to act casual. He stood in a dark corner, his face hidden behind thick black hair. In his hand, he held something that looked like a metal pipe. He lifted it to his mouth like a microphone and began humming a strange tune I couldn't quite make out. Assuming he was just some weirdo, I hurried past him and headed toward the convenience store. Even after I reached the entrance and glanced back, he was still standing there, watching me. As I entered the store, I noticed the clerk was nowhere to be seen. Instead, I could hear someone humming softly, somewhere between the aisles. By that point, I knew something felt wrong. I quickly grabbed an energy drink and headed for the exit. Then, a loud bang slammed against the glass door behind me. I spun around. The man from outside was opening the door and stepping into the store. Under the bright lights, I could finally see him clearly. He was tall, and his hands were covered in scars. Slowly, he started walking toward me, gripping the metal pipe. Then he spoke. "Your screams will make our song complete. We needed another instrument, and then you showed up." As he stared at me, his eyes moved up and down my body, sizing me up, and as they did, his humming grew louder. The clerk was still nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, the person hidden somewhere between the shelves continued humming as well. The two sounds blended together in a disturbingly perfect harmony. My heart nearly stopped. Then it began pounding so hard, I could hear it in my ears. The man's footsteps seemed almost rhythmic, like he was moving to the beat of some invisible song. Then he pulled out his phone. He tapped something on the screen and held it up for me to see. A voice recorder app was running. Next, he set the phone down on a nearby shelf. Then he gripped the metal pipe with both hands and took a stance like he was preparing to swing it. At that moment, the air seemed to freeze. I ran. I bolted for the door and sprinted out of the store. Seconds later, he came charging after me. I jumped into my car, started the engine, and slammed my foot on the gas pedal. As I sped away, I saw him climb into a truck that had been parked in a dark corner of the lot. Then he came after me. The truck raced onto the highway behind me. As he drove, he leaned his head out the driver's side window and screamed in an impossibly high-pitched voice. My hands shook violently on the steering wheel, but I kept driving as fast as I could. Eventually, the truck grew smaller and smaller in my rearview mirror. Then it disappeared completely. It took a long time for the shaking to stop. The entire drive afterward felt unreal. Thoughts poured through my head non-stop. The strangest part was that I never saw a single employee in that store. I still don't know whether the person humming between the shelves was actually a clerk or someone else entirely. It was well past midnight when I finally arrived at my friend's house. Still shaken and half-dazed, I told him everything that happened. He was horrified. He told me I should call the police immediately, but by then, I felt like it was already too late. Since that night, the man has appeared in my dreams from time to time. In those dreams, he always catches me, and he always beats me. I wake up every time, fighting the urge to scream, and the tune he was humming, it never really left me. Even now, I can still hear it playing over and over in my head, like a song that refuses to end.